These guys already know how to
Yeah.
2-3 sentence story.
My kids know how, but
Come up to the class and present it. It wasn't until the first student came up, she was like, me and my family went to the beach. I had lots of fun. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. Great.
Yeah.
I look at her paper and it's just like
scribbles.
chicken scratch. She read it off the top of her head. And it hit me at that moment that these kids do not know how to write yet.
That's
I'm like,
so
I
cute.
forgot how
I'm not
dealing
gonna
with.
lie. I was since last year, because of it being the way it was and everybody's so behind. I was so hard. I'm so hard on my kids, but alhamdulillah, they are writing books. Literally writing
And
books.
what grade? What grade?
First grade.
Yeah, like.
And let me tell you a quick funny story before we start.
You know,
So-
you remind me of the generation of my mom and my aunts. You remind me of their
Those
teaching
passionate
style.
teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm old school.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, 100%. You remind me of like,
Yeah.
like how like Wafa and Fatima Fada.
Yes.
You remind me of their.
Because we want them to do
Good.
well. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And be prepared.
So let me tell you a funny story real quick. So I have a student. I'm not gonna say his name, but I love him. He's like a little man. Literally, he's like a little man.
Acts way older than he is.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, and the way he talks, the way he acts, you know? So he comes up to the door or whatever, and he's like, Miss Stabit. I was like, what's up? He's like, does my neck stink? I was like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't smell you. He's like, can you check? I was like, okay. I go smell. Homie's wearing cologne.
What a.
I was like,
hey, he's
you
setting
smell
you
good.
up with that.
I was like, I'll put on cologne, Miss Stabit.
Ah.
I mean, swing him the sign. Let me take a picture so I can send it.
Swing what?
Give him the table talk sign.
Oh.
Like
Him?
Yeah,
To me?
Yeah, and I'm gonna take a picture so we can get some.
Yeah, I was cracking up.
That's
man.
hilarious. And he's slick with it too.
Man.
You know, to tell you,
smooth.
check if I stink, only
Listen,
to let you know that he put on some cologne.
smooth.
That's smooth. This kid's gonna be a
Wallah.
bad
I
man.
know, I swear.
For real.
He's a
He's
funny
hilarious.
dude. Their whole family's funny.
You know exactly who she's talking
Yeah,
about, huh?
100%.
I shouldn't even have to say who it was. She's
Man.
That's hilarious.
Funny.
His reputation precedes him.
100%.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. With all these million jerseys in the background. You love that.
That's a sweet wall. I love that wall.
And that was the first thing I told him when I walked in.
Yeah.
Mashallah,
I
the
just
place
want to
is
let you guys,
amazing. Wallah.
yeah, I want to let you know. I tag you in a story if you want to share it on your story,
Yes,
just
he
because
loves
it's the YouTube link. I think
Gotcha.
that's something that would
Did
be
you
cool
send
that
it?
we start doing.
WhatsApp?
I never do it
on
before,
WhatsApp.
Wallah.
I'll send it on WhatsApp too.
You sent it to me personally?
I tagged you on Instagram.
No, send it in the group, please. So
Yeah.
I can just copy.
Yeah, that would be better because it would, like, I think when we repost it, they're not able to
Doesn't-
directly
yeah.
click the link.
Yeah,
Yes,
just send
that's
him the
why.
link too.
I want me to text it to you or
Please.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have a business account to put. Well, I should be a business account, but I don't.
Maybe you can't tag. That's what you're saying.
I can't put
Links, I mean.
link, yeah.
Unless you're
By the way,
business-
that's probably the answer to your question. Remember you asked me?
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
probably you need to make it into a business account.
No, so when you're on Instagram,
Mine is.
did
The
you make?
posting the
I
videos.
did. I saw that you made an Instagram for your podcast.
Uh-huh.
So change it to professional profile. Change it to that. It's in your settings. It's like the
I
one
thought
of-
I did.
So once you do that, like some certain stuff starts to unlock. So then you get like the percentages and the activity waves and all of that.
I see the insights and whatnot.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to like use like links. So you'll be able to like hyperlink your link. So like let's
Uh-huh.
say you want to post your podcast link on your Instagram.
I'm able to do that. The
Okay.
issue that I'm having that I told Umar about though is that I'm not able to post videos longer than 1 minute.
Oh, nobody.
Really?
On your
What do you mean?
story,
No, not on my story. As a regular post.
IGTF, IGTF.
Yeah.
Do I have
You have-
IGTV? Like you
yeah.
have to download
Yeah,
it and
that one.
upload it through there?
No.
No, it's just a little button on it's on the side of your Hava.
Please take a look at this. Like when I press post, the only options I have are post. And when I do press post,
Oh, they did make it different now with
It
that
doesn't-
new update. No. Okay, hit the X button.
okay.
Go to swipe like. Oh wait, why does yours look? No, go like this.
Are we
Swipe
still
your
live?
Yeah.
What's my joke like?
Yes.
Post.
If there's people laughing, they would have heard it by now, and I'll tell you if you had people laughing. By the way, guys,
I
you
have
guys
so
know
many jokes.
we're posting we're posting stuff right now.
I remember one.
Go
Okay,
blue.
you don't post like that.
What's
You
going
post
on?
like
What are they go blueing right
That's
now
when you
for?
post.
Okay.
Hold on, my bad.
You're good.
Oh shoot.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, how did we do it? Let me play around with that.
Someone told me that the only way is to download IGTV on the side.
Maybe
And-
that's the new
and
thing that they did. I
and
haven't.
upload it.
I'm gonna be
downloaded-
honest with you. I don't know if I have updated it or not, but I don't have to do that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I remember
don't-
reading an article not too long ago saying that Instagram was taking away IGTV and that you're not allowed to post. So maybe because my account is newer, like that one is a little bit newer, it doesn't allow me to. So it's so annoying though, because then if I have a clip longer than a minute, I'd have to shorten it to a minute and then post it as slides, and
Yeah,
it doesn't.
nobody wants to do that.
Yes, and nobody wants to watch that either. If we're being honest.
All right.
I
Well,
tried
y'all
to-
ready to get this show on the
Maybe
road?
Abdullah, what's your
Go,
Instagram?
The podcast page is Unfiltered Intuition.
right, let's get this show on the road. It is officially 7:02. Let's get it rolling. Yeah, if you want to slide that back over there. Welcome to episode 14 of the Table Talk podcast. Today we are live with Abdullah Alhydary. All right, and of course.
You're out of here. I watched the last show. I don't know what's going on.
Those are last names. I was messing up their last names.
I was like,
yeah, and then from
I messed up Maui. I couldn't believe that one.
Is this
hey,
good?
and then I was like, I'm not doing last names.
It feels right now.
Bro, he messed up Maui. The easiest. Summer's last name, I get it. That one was a hard one.
I thought it was Yashi. She corrected me.
I'm big on pronouncing people's names correctly.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very big on it, but I'm not good at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm very big on it. I tell people all the time, you need to make sure you get people's name correctly.
100%.
And I appreciate
the Arabic way.
That's that's something I told Umar too. You know, your name's Umar Thabit.
Yes.
You know?
I'm not gonna lie, I struggled with my name since it's Abir. I'm always like Abir, and then you get the jokes and here and there, and I used to just laugh it off. But now I'm like, no, it's Abir.
See, and you avoid the joke by saying it that way, Abir. It doesn't sound like Abir.
Yeah.
When you.
I mean, but I let them break the ice that way.
100%.
But when I was younger, I used to be shy and like.
Weren't we all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I wasn't too much, but yeah, just a little bit.
Well, first of all, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. You know, Abdullah has started his own podcast here, and he's going to tell us more about it. And we're going to just talk about using your voice. That's what today's topic is all about, is using your voice. It's very important, and we're going to get into details about that as well. And we're going to talk about the relationship between Dearborn and Hamtramck / Detroit people, kind of see the current state.
Finally...
Gonna address it?
We're finally doing this, and I have a fellow Dearbornite.
Yes. See, I try to make it fair.
You finally made it fair.
Yeah, I made it fair because if we're gonna talk about this, we gotta have the people in the building as well. But before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to the sponsors. The first one we want to give a shout out to is Give to Gain. Give to Gain is a non-profit organization that sponsors orphans in Yemen. 100% of all their donations goes to the less fortunate. Why Yemen? It's the largest humanitarian crisis and aid operation. 5 million people are at risk of famine. 15 million people need water or sanitation support. If you are wondering how you can donate to Give to Gain, first of all, Venmo at Give, the number 2, Gain. Zelle is 313-445-8638. And then Cash App is the money symbol, Give to Gain. Give to gain, obviously the name is in itself. When you give to people that are less fortunate, you gain a lot of positive things, especially good deeds. So shout out to Rico for putting this on, putting light onto this situation. We appreciate that. And shout out to everybody that's involved with that nonprofit organization. They prefer not to be named, so I gotta respect that. But great people, definitely great people. And then if you want to call in, to the show, you want to discuss some of the topics that we're gonna be discussing. The number is 313-306-1750. Okay? One more time. 313-306-1750. Feel free to call in and join the discussion.
It runs in our family. We do talk really fast.
Every time I go back and I watch the show, I literally count how long it takes for Emma to say the number, and it's never longer than a second. I'm like, we have to work on it. So we did good today.
All right.
We did struggle with that.
There we go. So with that said, first of all, ladies, do y'all have anything to say? Abid, welcome back from the trip.
We
missed her.
Self-care. That's what it is. I had a great time. I came back refreshed. I'm ready to go. I want to go back, but it is.
She came back with the beanie on.
She came back.
It's cold
It's
as heck.
too cold out here, yeah.
Listen, I came back. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I heard it was nice though when we were gone that week. Last week I heard it was nice here.
That was the last of it, though. I don't think we're gonna see much.
I came back. I
of
was like,
that
it was a
anymore.
bit bad, man.
That's how bad it's been.
It was beautiful there, man. The weather was gorgeous.
Where did you go?
Bahamas.
Somebody's
But on
fancy.
a cruise.
Nice.
It wasn't that.
How
I
long
only
was
went on
it?
the
7
Carnival.
days?
No, it was 5.
Nice.
But we did 1 day in Miami, so it was like 6 altogether.
Nice.
So you'd recommend a cruise vacation? I've never.
100%, you guys. We're missing out. It's a blast. And in Hamtramck, usually cruises are 3,000 people. We got lucky it was only 1,700 on the boat. So no lines, guys. Unlimited food. You go to any show you want. The excursions are ready for you. Everything's on your app. It's so welcoming. Everybody's cool, chill, nice because they're all on vacation.
Yeah.
Amazing time. There's so much to do.
We'll talk after the show because I want to know more info.
For sure. Shout out to Uncle Eddie for getting it all together. I didn't even know what day, what time. I would just book it. when it's
I'll
time,
make
it's
it happen.
time. Yeah.
I love that
So
energy.
alhamdulillah, it was real nice.
Uncle Eddie, by the way, they're going to be the guest on the Sunday Fantasy Guys show. Shout out to Uncle
He's
Ed.
hilarious.
It's going to be fun to have him on the
Is he
show.
literally your uncle?
Yeah, but everybody does call him Uncle
Uncle
Ed,
Eddie
though.
too.
Everybody calls him Uncle Ed. But,
Can I say one joke that he did that was hilarious?
yeah.
Okay, so when we got to Miami, right, we had some time, so we went to go rent a car. So we're all waiting outside. He's going handling the business, or whatever. We get to the the parking structure where all the cars are, and he's like, "Which Jeep you want? You know, the Jeep, the ones that break apart where you know you're cool
Yeah,
and stuff."
Wranglers.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, we got that one." He's like, "Yeah, we in Miami." I was like, "Okay, that's what's up." So he's like, "Which one do you want? The gray one or the black one?" I'm like, "The gray one looks sweet." He's like, "All right," and then he did it, and it was a Mitsubishi.
He set you up, and he knew it was a Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
He had the
Funny
keys.
guy.
I
Funny guy.
couldn't stop laughing, man. I was like, I hate
That's
you.
Uncle Ed. To
That's
wrap
hilarious.
up Uncle Ed in a few sentences, that's who he is.
He was like, did it? I was like,
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
I'm stop with the jokes.
No, what I was gonna say is our guest today though is Abdullah. He's in the building, and first of
guy.
all, do you want to introduce yourself? And then after you introduce yourself, tell us what made you want to start your podcast. So go ahead, Abdullah.
Let me start off by thanking you for inviting me to come over. I really appreciate it. That's one thing, you know, mainly in our community. When you've had a podcast, I just started one recently, and for you to reach out and invite me onto your show, it really means a lot. You know, we definitely need to support each other. So
For sure.
thank you very much.
No
I appreciate that. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Abdullah Alhydary. I'm 26 years old. Grew up in Dearborn my whole life. I wasn't born in Dearborn. I was born in Yemen. Came here when I was 4 years old. Went to school at Salino. Only did my freshman year. I tell this to everyone because it's funny. I only did my freshman year at Etzel Ford, and then I got sent to Yemen. I say sent to Yemen. My sophomore year, my junior year, and my first semester senior year. I didn't like it at the time. Looking at it in hindsight, I thank my dad every day for letting me spend those years over there. Graduated from Etzel Ford. I'm married. And yeah, life is good, alhamdulillah. Moving on to bigger and better things. This podcast is definitely one of the ways that I feel like I can try to do things my own way, you know.
Can you give people the name of the podcast, by the way?
The name of the podcast is Unfiltered Intuition.
I love the name.
Thank you, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. That's because that's the concept of the podcast. It's
love
very
that.
unfiltered. I've only recorded about 3 episodes. I only posted one. Hopefully the second one will be dropping on Wednesday. Very unstructured. I do like to line it up with some questions, but it's very unstructured. The concept of the podcast is to really bring people on who have accomplished things in life, and not just necessarily financially. That's not even what I'm really focused on. Whether it's spiritually, emotionally, physically, and I like for these people to talk a little bit about their journey and just have the viewers understand that things don't happen overnight. You know, they talk about the obstacles they faced, some of the things they went through to get to the position that they're in, and I feel like that type of conversation needs to be had. Like the name of your podcast is Motivate Me 313. I feel like it inspires people as well to see things all the way through. You know, if you're going through something, it's not the end of the world. Nothing is permanent, whether it's the good stuff or the bad stuff. So, you know, I felt like starting a project like that would definitely help me relay the message on a much bigger platform. If you know me, you know that I love to talk and I don't like to talk about BS. You know what I mean? So having a platform like that, I definitely feel like is not only beneficial to everyone else, I'm learning from it every single day, and it's helping me become a better person with every episode, with, you know, everything that goes into it. So first and foremost, I'm benefiting from it myself, and if I'm benefiting from it, I feel like a lot of other people could benefit from it as well. So that was one of the major reasons as to why I started the project. I've always wanted to start a podcast. Actually, a buddy of mine, Muhammad Kamal Char, probably last year, he's like, "Hey bro, we should start a podcast together." At the time, I had no real structure, you know, to how I wanted to tackle the podcast, so I just put it off. And then eventually, you know, I'm a very talkative person. I'm very social. I like to talk to strangers, and throughout the years, I've come to find out that everyone has a story, dude. You know, something that they can share that a lot of people could benefit from. And this one day, I was at the gym, and after approaching this one person, he's actually the first guest on my show. Within a matter of 5 minutes, mind you, if you watch the podcast, I talked about it a little bit. This guy seems very unapproachable. took it upon myself to approach him because I knew that this dude is interesting. There's a lot behind the reason. There's a lot behind why he is the way he is. And within a matter of 5 minutes of talking to him, on a genuine approach, I found out so much about him, and I'm like, wow, man, you really have a lot to offer. And that's when it struck me, the idea of the podcast is, dude, so many different people who have been through so many different things and have persevered and seen it all the way through. Why not try to highlight their stories? And hopefully, like I said, I benefit from it, and it's something that a lot of other people would be able to benefit from as well.
Inshallah, man. Inshallah. That's very inspiring. And what I was gonna say was, from their stories, it even probably inspires you
100%
to keep going and
100%.
motivates you to keep going and stuff like that. But I was gonna just ask a quick question because I think that's a great thing, and I always wanted to hear someone say the answer to this. So, you said your dad told you to go to Yemen, right? You end up saying that you are happy for it now. But
100%.
what are your overall thoughts on that? Like, do you recommend kids doing that, parents making their kids do that? Do you enjoy your experience and stuff like that?
I think my circumstances were a little special in the way that it was able to happen. It's funny because not even 2-3 days ago, I was talking to my older brother Hakim, and I told him, I'm like, dude, I really think every single parent should send their kids to Yemen for a couple of years.
Wow.
He's like, why? He's like, I'm like, I was a hothead as a kid, and I feel like if I did stay over here throughout my high school years, I wouldn't have ended up becoming the type of person that I am. And then his son, I love his kid. He's such a good kid. He's like, well, I'm not like you. I'm a good kid.
Yeah.
So, and in his case, like, he doesn't have much family over there. Me, I had a whole bunch of nephews who I was able to hang out with. So if you do have family over there,
That would actually take care of you.
That would actually take care of you, look out for you, show you the ropes. I do recommend it, but considering the state of affairs in our country right now, it's unfortunate that I don't really recommend it at the time. And if you're doing the right thing, I think your kids are better off being over here. But for me, it served a great purpose for me. Like I said, during the time that I did get sent over there, and I say sent because it wasn't my choice. I actually thought it was a round trip ticket. I found out when I was in Yemen that it was a one-way ticket.
It happens. I heard these stories.
And I thank my dad now, looking back at it in hindsight, because like I said, everything, I've come to really believe that everything happens for a reason, even the little things. So
it's crazy because a lot of the older generation, like, روحوا Yemen, take them back home. I don't like. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Well, my kid is good, alhamdulillah, but like I
see, that's a major difference right there.
It's not even a thought that crosses minds anymore because of the state that
The
Yemen's
situation.
in. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
exactly,
Like
definitely.
if Yemen was fine, like let's say pre 2013, why wouldn't you take that? Like if you had the opportunity, why wouldn't you? Like it's our homeland.
100%.
But it's not. So that's why like anybody that's going, we're like, why are you going right now? Like do you and then it's always because they either have somebody that's sick over there or family or they got to take care of something. So it's not even like they necessarily.
100%.
I know like all of our family is here. Like there's not even anyone that we would
mine
even.
too.
Yeah.
Mine
Then
too.
that's a major factor as to why you should or you shouldn't go. And for me, like I said, I had a lot of family over there.
Like so
I
you went
enjoyed
to school there?
I did.
How did you like the school system?
I went to a private school where my dad paid some money for us to go. So like
We did too, but
we were pretty spoiled. I took
we
advantage
cried
of
every
it.
day. I cried every day. 8th grade year, my dad was like, "Okay, we're gonna just stay a year in Yemen." Allah yarhamah. And we only lasted 1 month. I would cry every single day. I was like, Mama, I'll just
How
cook
old
and
were you
clean
when you
for
guys went?
8th grade. I was 8th grade.
Oh, okay.
I'll cook and clean for you, Mama. I don't need to go to school no more.
My dad ended up
month.
coming through, man. He ended up coming through. I
And he
couldn't
let you
believe.
guys
I
go
couldn't
back?
believe. Yeah. I couldn't believe.
Man,
I couldn't believe, like, we teamed work. I remember me and her. This is a funny quick story too.
Go ahead.
So my brothers, Ali, Muhammad, and our uncles,
older
they were sophomores and juniors in high school, and then my uncles were bahum. So they were living with them. No, not that time. That wasn't the time they got married, come on.
Also,
My
numerous
uncles.
trips.
Uncles got
Yeah,
married.
my
My
uncles
uncles
got
got married. But
Okay.
so they went back, and so we never had the conversation if I was gonna go back or not. So I was always on the fence. I was a 6th grader. I knew I was not gonna go back, but they never really said it to me. So they
That's
ended up
one thing
doing
about
it.
our parents. They never say, like, you're always in the unknown. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So long story short,
Thank God.
me and Abid,
You guys teamed up, huh?
we teamed up and we did.
I can't believe you would say this.
Yeah. Do y'all
Let me
know?
hear it.
Do y'all know the song Every Step I Dude, she was doing the singing, I was doing the ditty verse. We sent it. Listen, this is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Listen. So Ali Muhammad and my uncles, we sent it. We sent it to them because my auntie was going back to America like 3 weeks after them.
And a cassette.
And a cassette. This is
Oh my God.
And a cassette.
The effort
we
they went into that.
we recorded. We made sure we were on the beat. We sent it to them. It was like literally a
That
week.
was your cry for help, right
Oh
there.
my God! A week later, they called us. They were telling us, "This is some members, my uncles. They were like 20.
Yeah.
They were telling us that they
You guys
teared
are
up.
6th grade and 8th grade.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
I can't sing, you guys.
Hey,
I
that
can't
is
sing.
hilarious.
Hey, me in the background. I'm telling her good job.
Oh man.
So long story
Did it
short,
work?
yes. A week or two later, we got our plane ticket back to
And you
America.
credit it to that music video you
I'm
guys
not. They probably got my dad's
did.
ear.
You guys got to bring that up. I don't know where it's
Where
at,
is
but
it? Where is
I hope you guys still have it.
I need to talk.
No?
No.
The memory lives on forever.
Yeah, it does.
I wish you guys still had that. That's
I wish we
golden
did.
right
I
there.
know.
Like, we always did like.
Yeah.
Man, we.
But we honestly, I wish we still had that. I
That
wish
is
we did, but we don't have
hilarious.
When
it.
we were in elementary school, we used to have the whole playground round up around us, and we used to do like handshakes and dance.
You guys were the cool kids. You guys were the cool kids on the playground, huh?
We thought we were the cool ones. They're probably either laughing at us or we didn't know yet. We didn't know what's the difference.
That's
We're
hilarious.
Cool.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we're cool.
But yeah, Yemen was a great experience, honestly. Overall, looking back at it in hindsight, I really enjoyed it, and I feel like it served a lot, for me. And it, like I said, considering the fact that I gave my dad a hard time growing up,
Allah
and
Sameh.
Wallahi samah too.
It goes both ways.
It does, and alhamdulillah, looking back at it in hindsight, I feel like it was definitely necessary, and I'm glad that I went and spent those 3 years over there.
Hearing his answer, Shayma, about why he started a podcast, you could kind of relate, right, with what we were trying to do. But go ahead, Shay.
Right. I just wanted to just point two factors that you mentioned when you were telling us a little bit of it. So the fact that you talk to people and that you're a people's person and stuff, coming from a person that also has that, I want to like articulate and kind of like shut or put a spotlight on the fact that that's your observancy. That's the ability of you being observant, and the fact that you have that knowledge and the fact that you can articulate feeling, because that's huge. That's something that I learned in the years of being in the public and being able to articulate speech. That's subhanAllah, it's a gift. Like everybody has gifts, and we'll talk about
I
this.
say
in
that all
life.
the time too.
And
Everyone has a gift.
having that gift of speaking to people and being able to have that feeling relationship type of a thing, that's something huge, and it takes an observant soul. So that's something that you have. Another really, really big thing that wallah, when I heard it was you doing the podcast, I got chills, and I'll tell you why.
I'm flattered.
This one it hits home because you look like us, talk like us, from the same book from us. We was eating the same things. We was doing the same
We were
things.
just talking about how we went to Arabic school together 15
We were
years ago.
literally the same person. This is a guy that I've known for 20 years. You know what I mean? I've known his wife for longer. You know what I mean? So that's crazy to me. And then the fact that you're coming from the South End, talking about topics that the South End doesn't even touch on, and it's Abdullah. Like, now what? It's kind of like
I
a mic
appreciate
drop.
that.
You know what I mean? And so the fact that he looked like has that, and then that knit grit like the people that are in the public, but still has that face that, he's just like us, like just one of the boys. Ala qawlatin nas.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
I definitely agree, and I know the value of it because I know what it does for me when,
Right.
Having genuine conversations with people and, diving beneath the surface and not just like being superficial with your conversations. I know how much it's done for me, so I try to also like relay that in all my conversations as well. I don't like to have, generic conversations. It's always about things that are really important, and like Shayma said, it's very important to have those kind of conversations. It's one of the things that helps us get past those barriers that, are deep-rooted in our communities. And it's absolutely necessary. It's funny because I just posted something on my story a couple days ago that it was in the lines of, if speaking kindly to plants helps them grow, imagine what it does for humans. And that's huge, man, because I try to start with my family first and foremost, my little brother, my siblings, my nieces, my nephews. And I've, over the years, whether it's with the relationship that I've come to have with my nieces and nephews, I'll say it myself, I'm their favorite uncle. No feelings hurt. It's mainly because of the fact that I really, really try to have an emotional connection with these kids or with the people that I'm around, and it does a lot. It really does a lot for them. So, I think it's something that's very important, and I feel like everyone should step out of their shell a little bit and talk about things that really matter. Entertainment is simply entertainment. It's okay to be a sports fanatic or to love movies or shows or this, but you can't have that the center of all your conversations, because that leaves no room for talking about the things that really matter. So
Yeah.
I always say, like, I've always wanted to be the person that I needed growing up. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So
100%.
if we can do that, then
Same thing I say is I want to be a teacher that I always wanted to
100%.
have. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's when I talk to the students. I tell them straight up, like, I would have wanted this. I
For
would want a
myself.
person. Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So sometimes we gotta get into a conversation. So kind of going into that, I know we kind of talked about Yemen, and we talked about they're here to talk about having a voice. Do you all feel like the Yemeni/Muslim voice needs to be heard? I know you were kind of touching on that, so I don't know if you want to add on to that. Like, do you feel like, and I specifically say Yemeni because it's rare. You know what I'm saying? The Yemeni voice is rare. People from America with the Yemeni voice. We might see some Yemeni journalists out there having conversations.
But generally from our communities and whatnot.
From our communities.
Absolutely necessary. And I feel like that's one of the things that's kind of held us back as a community throughout the years. There's plenty of factors that go into that. We're one of the newer races coming into America. I feel like the Lebanese community is already into their second, third generation. My dad is first generation. I'm still like the second youngest of 10 kids, so I'm still a part of that second generation. That's one of the factors, but also another one is the fact that we become very complacent, and we don't like getting out of our comfort zones.
100%.
And that's one thing I know our parents want what's best for us, but sometimes it's not necessarily good for you, because they just want you to remain in a place of comfort and
Play it safe.
and that comes at the cost of your own
Happiness?
Yes, 100%, man, 100%. And that was one thing that, I know my dad loves me with all his heart, and he wants the best for me. But at the same time, that's definitely one of those things that I feel like held me back a little bit, is because he always wanted me to play it the safe route. Me taking on this project over here, he has been, seeing what I've been doing and whatnot. But I know he's in Yemen right now. I know if he was here, he would kind of be demoralizing me about pursuing something like this. I'm like, what are you doing?
Wasting your time, kind of.
You know what I mean? But like I said in the beginning of the podcast, if it wasn't something that's benefiting me and forcing me to become a better person, and I pray to God all the time, if there's any good that comes out of this, please make it something bigger and allow me to continue doing it. And if there's any bad in this, just close it shut. So, that's one thing that we got to rely on is tawakkul and believe in yourself. Sometimes those noises that prevent you from actually pursuing your dreams are ones that live under the same roof as you. So, as long as you know that you're not doing anything right, you're being ethical, you're being moral, and you're first and foremost, you're not doing anything to anger God, then I feel like you have nothing to worry about. Just pursue it. And that goes into letting your voice be heard. That's one of the things that I feel like our parents kind of held us back from doing, is because they didn't want you to get out of your comfort zone. They want you to play it safe. Just go get a career, like a job. Not that there's one thing that I tell everyone. I understand money is a very important aspect of life. It allows you to live the type of life that you want to live. But it becomes an issue when that's all you center your life around, and it distracts you from the things that are much bigger than that. Your family, your connections with people. So this is something that I started genuinely. I honestly am not looking for much out of it, at least in the beginning. Eventually, if it heads in the right direction, I won't reject any good that does come out of it.
100%.
But like I said, it's benefiting me as a person first and foremost, so I find no reason as to why I shouldn't continue, doing what I'm doing. And it's just at the beginning. I'm sure you know this, man. And this applies to anything. When you're starting something, man, you face so many different obstacles before you're able to actually get into the groove of things. And I'd be lying to you if I said I haven't already been discouraged by myself to just let it go, bro. Maybe you should do something else. You know what I mean? But you just gotta persevere through it, man. You can't let the first obstacle that comes in your way prevent you from continuing on. And I feel like that's one of our issues as a whole, not just as a Yemeni community, but humans in general, is that, especially in this day and age, We're so used to instant gratification. When we're not able to get that instant gratification off something that we're pursuing right away, it often discourages us from actually being able to, see things in the long run and wait for things to come around full circle. So, letting your voice be heard, to go back to that topic, is extremely important, especially if you have the gift and the ability to connect to people. You have no idea what kind of change you could possibly be making in someone's life by the words that you tell them. So having your voice be heard is definitely very important, and I recommend that everyone does it. If you have that's if you have something nice to say. If you have something nice to say it. If you don't, keep it to yourself.
Yeah. And by the way, the struggle is part of the journey. It's all part of that journey. So Abir and then Shay, I'm gonna let y'all both obviously answer this because y'all coming from the Yemeni woman perspective. So do you feel like the Yemeni woman voice should or needs to be heard?
100%. I lived all of my life afraid of what people are gonna say. You know what I'm saying? And I had so much to say. I had so much to share. And that's just me, let alone everybody else. And I've met Yemeni girls that are so smart, so talented, so well-spoken, like, have real talk that should be shared, like, and they can't. You know what I'm saying? Of what people are going to say, or their family doesn't let them, and, I wish. But now, like, I've been telling them, stop saying I wish, say I am. Stop saying I wish, say I am, and just do it. And it's sad that it took me until I turned 30 to realize, okay, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. No one's holding me back. I'm not hurting nobody. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm going to be that role model that I needed. There's a lot of girls, especially in the school system, seeing all the little girls and seeing how they're raised. Even right now, like, I'm not going to lie to you, Hamtramck is a little bit behind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I do see a difference, 100%. So I do feel like we need to be heard. I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying. We don't have enough people, especially in the political
sphere of things.
Shout out! I want to give flowers, credit to whoever, Ibrahim Ayash.
For sure.
Honestly, paving the way. You know what I'm saying?
I give him a lot of credit whenever I can. 100%.
100%. Like,
100%.
Definitely deserves
we're
a clap
so
for that
stuck in this bubble where we don't have no representation for us.
I'm gonna give
And,
Ibrahim a round of
there you go.
applause.
He doesn't even know me. I haven't talked to him ever.
Yes,
but,
he does. He knows
He
you.
knows me, but I guess he knows. I know his sisters.
We're our family. We live 2 blocks away from each other.
Yes, the Ayash family, I love all of them. Shout out to Jihan, Hafsa, all of them, IFF. But we need to speak up, whether you're a boy or a girl. Even the guys are not really,
Stepping up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
100%.
So here we are. We need to make a change, and
Shay Strong. This is one of those also.
This one speaks home because I am the person that can confidently say that I have known ever since I could speak that I felt in the fiber of my being that I was different. I did not have a problem with vocalizing my thoughts. That wasn't my problem. My problem was I wasn't allowed to. Yeah. So when I'm doing it, so I would do it. So the thing is though, I would do it and then get the repercussions for doing it. So I would get the beatings, handle the grounding and all of that. So I got all of that because I would have stopped. So again, learning that articulation, learning that I would not stop. So coming into this age and time, first of all, the Yemeni community, we rarely have representation. And I come from a household that, alhamdulillah, doing community work it's commemorated. Like, they like that, okay? So me and my brother, my younger brother Isa, we got really, really big in it, and it was
Shout out Isa.
So it kind of became like our thing, you know what I mean? And so like, coming from that perspective and knowing the only 1, 2, 3 heads that follow under our criteria, or under our group, it's so lonely. 100%. It's so lonely. And now that I'm saying, that's why I love the fact that a person like Abdullah started this podcast, because now somebody that I could recognize, somebody that looks like me, we talk the same, we learn the same kalam and the same lugha and the same, ghunna and the same, all of that. We did that all of, so it brings me a sense of joy knowing that it's starting to happen, and these are the people, or these are the faces that are showing the younger generation that, hey, there's nothing for you to be scared of. We're okay. There's nothing, it's not 2014 anymore where people are making, fake numbers and fake Instagrams. And no, there's laws now that protect us from that. So like, I feel like nowadays it's not. It's like it's our time. It's our time to shine, and I feel like the people that are biting it are the people that had that potential growing up and
didn't get the chance.
and didn't get the chance, and now they're finally taking that opportunity because now it's our time. They recognize that it was our time, and they're like, oh, I don't want to miss out. Why? When I could eat off of this, you know what I mean? And they're eating, and kudos to them for doing that.
Go ahead.
She mentioned the youth in that. I honestly feel like that's who we have the biggest impact on.
Absolutely.
We'll get the heat. We'll get the heat from the older generation.
But that's who we have.
Yeah.
That's who we have the biggest impact on, and I feel like that's why it's even more important. Like my nephew watches my podcast, and thinking about that, I'd be like, all right, I have like a younger audience watching this, and it's watching it passionately. So you got to be extra careful with the things that you say and that you do because, you know, they reciprocate what they see, especially if it's from someone that they look up to. So you got to make sure what you do is.
That's the age group that's looking for their identity rather than the older folk. It's so hard to sway your opinion. It's so hard to change somebody's mind if they're already stuck on it. So like, to be honest with you, we're I feel like our generation, we're stuck trying to change their opinion when we need to refocus and change the motive to the youth.
True.
And again, only a few
Well
people realize that and can turn it around and be like, you know
Give her
what?
claps.
It's not for them. It's not for them anymore. They're already stuck.
100%.
If you can't even change somebody's opinion, why would you even bother? Just save your breath. You know what I mean? Take it to somebody that's still trying to figure out who they are, which is, you know, the little ones.
And at the same time, eventually, I feel like the older people come back around when they start seeing you reaping the fruits of your hard
labor.
work, and
when
they see.
when the youth is telling them what to do.
And not even just that, when they see that the youth is actually having productive, successful lives, and they come to see that, look, these guys did things a little bit differently. Maybe it's time, you know, that and that's one thing I like to tell a lot of people, like, you know, our parents know what they knew. Like, my dad grew up, raised in Yemen. He just knows the nitty gritty of things, and I don't necessarily blame them for raising us the way that they did because that's all that they know. But I feel like sometimes they fail to acknowledge that things have changed. They're no longer the same, and you have to adjust. And if you don't adapt and adjust, you're just gonna get left behind.
100%.
Yeah, definitely, and all brought up some great points. And I guess the important thing that I also wanted to touch on, Shay, what you were saying is, you know, the impact of having it on the youth, and that's what it should be focusing on, because they're the ones that are watching and they're listening, and they are lost right now, and they're trying to. Yeah, it's hard, and they really, you know, they're on their phones, and also going off of the fact that, you know, it's our time. You know, just date back to 20 years ago. Social media was never around. People couldn't get their video out to people like this.
We
like,
have such a big platform.
and it's only going to get probably
reach
better.
so many different
And think
people.
about how attached people are to their phones now. So, you know, these kids nowadays that are growing up, these, you know, middle schoolers / high schoolers, like, they're more closer to their phones than they are to their family members.
100%, man.
So if they're watching their phones, you know, you would probably hopefully give them something good to watch. You know, like, this is literally the way that some of them. This is the way that they're growing up. They literally are growing up off of the things that they watch.
It's only gonna get worse. You didn't hear about the metaverse, man? They're literally trying to make. I feel like one day that will be the case, where people will live their lives through the internet. You know, and it's unfortunate because that disconnects you. My most recent guest on the podcast actually said this. He's like, we've disconnected from reality and connected to the internet. And man, it's very true. That's why it's very important to pump out some good content. At least, you know, you're delivering a good message. You know, they're already on their phones, like you said, so you might as well give them some good stuff to watch. I feel like a lot of stuff these days is just either comical, satire, doesn't really touch base on the things that are really important. And when they see it coming from people like us, they find it entertaining and give it the time of day to actually sit there, watch, try to learn a thing or two. So we definitely have to take advantage of the fact that social media is the main form of communication amongst us as a whole.
Yeah.
Not even just our community, but as a whole.
Yeah, it's the new way. It's the new way. So everybody's kind of been touching about, why do you feel it's important to use their voice? Why do you think it's important for people to use their voice? It's kind of different than the last question. I guess just in general, like, why do y'all feel like it's important for people to use their voice? Like, what kind of things can they get out of it? Shay, I'm going to go ahead and start off with you on this one.
My biggest thing is I hated growing up that the only thing that we talked about publicly was the good stuff. Like, the good things that happened. Oh, mashallah, wahid filan got married. Or mashallah, this person. What about the stuff that actually matter, the stuff that make you who you are? Why can't we talk about those stuff comfortably? Like, why couldn't I talk about me being sick or me getting diagnosed with MS? Like, why did I have to hide that? And why did when it finally came out, why did you guys make me feel so wrong for having something that wasn't even in my control? So doing, like, my biggest thing is making people realize how relatable we are to
100%.
one another, and that we're more in relations, and that we are more in company than you think we are.
100%.
Because the biggest thing that I live by is, man, misery loves company. And if you're in a situation, wouldn't you love if there was somebody that you knew that was in the situation like you, or somebody that did it like you, and now you can, why wouldn't you want that? And that's okay, you can admit if you would want that. That's where the misery loves company comes into line, right? So my big thing was, be relatable. Show people that you're just like them. You do have problems. We speak the same. We look the same. We have these same problems. And guess what? They're more normal than you think. So it's our job to do that and to provide that line, or that safety net for people to feel that need. So for me, it's all about being relatable.
I bet. Did you want to touch on that too?
I think that everybody has a story, and there's someone out there that can relate to you. You can help people get through some tough times. You can help people become the person that they want to be. They don't even, they wouldn't even know if they can make it. You know what I'm saying? But they hear that
Absolutely.
you started off the same way you started off the same way that they started off, and they're successful. You'd be like, wow, I could really,
Do it
get to
too.
that. Yeah. So like, you're motivating people, you're helping people out, you're maybe even helping people avoid doing something that they were trying to do that they shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You always try to learn people's mistakes. Everybody's story is important. Everyone can learn from each other. Everyone can relate from one another. People can see, we're Yemeni, we're Muslim. They can see, wow, they're normal, they're cool people too. You know what I'm saying? They go through the same things. There's people out there, not to bring up my vacation again, but in the Bahamas, people ask each other. Now listen, people ask where are you from? No matter what, where are you from? They're like, I don't, I'll be like, Detroit, Michigan. Like, no, originally.
Yeah.
I'm like, Yemen. They're like, where's that? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
they don't
like
even
a
know
lot of
Yemen.
people don't know.
Believe it or not, Yemen slowly.
is starting
20
to-
years
I'm telling
ago,
you.
for the wrong reasons, by the way. But 20 years ago, you talk about Yemen, they'll be completely lost.
They're like,
Slowly.
where's that? I'm like, in the Middle East. Like, what do you mean?
What does it look like?
And then they're like, next to where? And I'm like, next to Saudi Arabia. And they're, after I said next to Saudi Arabia. So a lot of people didn't even know who we are, and we need to start speaking up and showing out and representing our country and shedding light to where we came from and being proud of it. I don't know.
100%.
Yeah, I'm the same question basically. Why do you feel like it's important for people to use their voice?
Dude, like I mentioned earlier, you have no idea what kind of impact that using your voice would have on someone else. It goes back to what I said about, that meme it's not even a meme, that post about what speaking kindly does to plants. Imagine what it would do for humans. And I feel like during this day and age where we're so attached to our phones, people have become emotionally disconnected from one another. And, that only leaves room for all the negative things, being depressed, being miserable, feeling like you can't get through what you're getting through, and being able to use your voice to let people know that, hey, you're not alone, dude. Other people have been through the same exact things that you've been through, and they've been able to persevere through it. I feel like it does a lot for whoever's on the receiving end of the message, and it does a lot for the person who's giving the message as well. It's extremely important. It does a lot for many different people, and hey, words are the most powerful thing in the world. They have the ability to put you into places that you want, and they have the ability to put you into places that you don't want to be in. Speaking up, let's say, give you the smallest example. Let's say you want a promotion at work. The chances of it happening with you being quiet and not saying a single word are very slim. But when you know what you bring to the table, and you then use your voice to say, hey, I know what I bring to the table, I would like the chances of it now happening are much higher. You got to use your words. Things are not going to change for you. You definitely have to put in the effort and take the initiative to use your voice to change the circumstances of your life. Nothing's going to change if you don't take the initiative to make the change. And I feel like using your voice plays a large role in changing the things that you're not happy with. So it's extremely important for yourself and for the people around you.
That is great advice, because the old principal that we used to have, she used to tell me that all the time. Like, if you want something, you gotta say something.
100%.
You know, like, if you want this position, you gotta say something. If you
100%.
want to, you know, do something else, you know, you gotta open your mouth, like you said. So, if you do want to say something, you do have to use your words and use your voice, literally, to get that promotion, get that raise, or get that job, get
That's
that
just
position.
on the most minimal level,
Yeah.
you know, that example. But your words definitely have the capability of putting you in places, you know what I mean? A lack thereof, trust me, nothing will change. You know, your possibilities of changing things are very slim when you're just silent. So, like I said, extremely important.
Now flipping it to the other end, and I'm gonna let you, Abid, go ahead and answer this one first. What does it feel like to not have your voice heard? I know you kind of mentioned it, and you had brothers that always supported you to use your voice when you were younger.
Opposite.
But
No, I love my brothers. I love my uncles. They were very protective. I grew up in a house with all my brothers. My sisters are like 10 and 7 years younger, so I grew up with boys. I was sheltered to the extreme, you know. They had fun with me. They took me out. We did everything together, whatever. But they didn't want me to go to high school. At the time, the high school was very it wasn't safe. There was a lot of fights going on, and they're like, you know, we don't want you to be around there. Allah Yarham, he's like, you're gonna go. He took me to orientation and everything, but then my brother's like, we're not gonna talk to you. We're not gonna be around you. Like, you know, they kind of bullied me into not doing it. So I was homeschooled the first year. I had so many aspirations and stuff like that, but I felt like very I couldn't do it. Like
Discouraged.
I knew in my head, I can't do it. Like, I'm not allowed to do it, so I'm not gonna even, you know, try. Even though I still got all A's and still did what I, you know, did everything that I want, like, that I could. And then finally, like, a charter school opened up, so I was allowed to go there. But yeah, no, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie.
That's because of lack of using your voice.
100%. I never stood up for myself. It's like, I wanted their approval. I wanted them to like me. I wanted to be, you know, the one that listens and the one that's good,
Obedient,
goody two shoes or whatever. I'm not gonna lie, I was a teacher's pet and all that stuff. I didn't want to go against my family. Like, that was everything for me. Like I said, it was not until, like, I went through all the struggles that I went through. You know, I got married back home, didn't work out. I had my son, I raised them, you know, by myself with my brothers, of course. And, like, when he grew up, I grew up. I'm not gonna lie, I grew up with him. And whatever I wanted for him, I was like, I want that for me too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was tough, but alhamdulillah, like, I feel now we're a whole different level. Like, our family is very open and willing to see my situation, and they've seen me grow, and I guess it's like they know that I'm strong enough person to not get. They were, I feel like, afraid of more of somebody taking advantage, and you know how it is or whatever.
A lot of, you know, to defend that point right there is, you know, like, same situation in my family with my sisters and whatnot. But I feel like it wasn't necessarily because they wanted to hold you back. They're just so unsure. You know what I mean? And it's out of fear of a lot of things. And, you know, it's funny that I had one of the questions that I had for my public interview this week was, what are some of the things that you feel prevent you from reaching your potential? And fear is a big one, you know. Although they did it out of fear, I definitely don't agree that it was a good enough reason, you know, to prevent someone from actually continuing to do what they wanted to do. And their family knows, the person knows that they had the potential to, you know, to do great things. But fear is a big thing, man. Fear is definitely a huge reason as to why a lot of people don't do what they want to do.
100%. Fear, and, like, you don't want to disappoint your family.
100%.
And honestly, like, I wanted to go. I had a full ride scholarship. I couldn't take it because, you know, I had to get married first because, you know, traditions and cultures and whatever.
Finished as the was it valedictorian?
Valedictorian, yep.
Yeah, you know,
So,
she
alhamdulillah,
took
like,
care of her business.
But I still, you know, I didn't let it go. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, my time came, and I was able to go to school and work and, you know, raise my son the way that I wanted to raise him. And alhamdulillah, like, I can't complain. Like, I'm not gonna go back and say I wish or I should have. Everything happens for a reason.
100%.
I am who I am today because of what happened to me. So alhamdulillah, like, but I'm not gonna lie to you. You feel caged. You feel like you're not to be sound corny or whatever, but you're that butterfly that's tied to a rock. Like, you want to go and you know,
You're
but
being held back. You feel like
yeah,
you're definitely
and like
wrong.
your potential, like I feel like I could have done so more, but I don't want to ever, like I don't like saying
don't
that.
think about the shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like you said, everything
Yeah.
happens for a reason. You know.
For sure.
Just think about how many Yemeni women though are in that same situation.
100%.
Like,
Trust me, I
it's-
know firsthand, dude.
Like imagine how many Yemeni guys there is. It's probably for every guy there's a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like we're more.
Yeah,
not to
probably
be,
more.
You know, I feel like we're way more motivated. You know, what I'm saying? If we're allowed to, I feel like our potential, like we're ready to
just
go.
look at the small business event like they did last week. That's a perfect example.
My wife was there. It was a success.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a perfect example though. Like they were saying they had over 40 vendors and stuff like that. Like we ain't doing that.
That you ain't lying.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're not doing that.
Give
So
us a
I
chance.
agree. Like
Give us a
I'm
chance,
telling you,
Lola.
there's a lot. Like there was like a whole generation of like whenever our parents came in here for until like now, finally. You know, like
Listen,
think about it. That's like
there's
a
times
whole wave
where
of
where I
women.
think that if women were involved in the system of Yemen, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
we probably would
absolutely.
find a way.
Oh, no,
Not to
absolutely.
don't knock me, guys. Don't
No,
knock
no,
me.
it's not. They can't knock you because guess what? This is all you have to do is just back it up.
الرجال ما قدروش you know يدوروا حل.
You know,
the best time.
it's-
The best time of Yemen was when it was ran under the rule of a woman. So like that's
That's a whole
and
nother
that-
topic.
and that's-
We can't fact check that. I gotta fact check that. Real quick. I
Put money where
mean,
your
not
mouth
right
is.
now.
Put me on
What I'll do-
Sunday
Saying,
Funday.
like-
What- put me on Sunday Fantasy on this one. I will game check this one.
This is another reason why our voice needs to be heard. We need more educated people reaching out. I don't know how it works in Yemen. I'm not gonna even sit here and say that I know how everything works or whatever. But they have us fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Like where are we? Where's the generation where we go? Like this is enough. Let's build
I
our
feel like
country.
that relies on us and the next generation. We have to play a major role in trying to better the
Fix that up.
circumstances of our country. 100%. Take the talents and the skills that we've learned over here and
Bring it back.
bring it back to a certain extent, 100%, and put in the effort to try to make a change over there. That's a
Whole
very
other topic,
extremely
too.
long-term goal. 100%.
Yeah.
But I feel like we definitely play a role in changing the circumstances of our country.
100%.
When you think about it, we're the only people that can save Yemen. Nobody
I was just
cares.
gonna say that if it's not gonna come from our generation or the next generation, that's it. It's that
The world will
nobody's
end before it
khalas.
happens.
Like it's
Yeah.
not gonna get picked up, and that's something that really scares me and it makes me really sad.
Well, that's
So
why we have to
that's
take the
why it
initiative to
needs to
better
be us.
ourselves first and foremost,
Absolutely.
so that way we actually do have something to bring to the table that would
Absolutely.
influence that type of change.
Yeah.
You know, so
For
and
sure.
the change comes from within first. You know, be the change you want to see in the world,
Right.
and
100%.
it goes from there, man.
I agree. Shayma, I don't know if you had a chance to answer that one too about how does it feel like to not have your voice be heard, you know?
For me, it was more like, be your age, act your age. Wait, you're acting like an adult. Like, stop talk. Like, you know, me being that person because I told you I was very vocal, was very outgoing as a little kid. You know, so for me, it was kind of annoying because I always knew that I had something important to say, just nobody would listen to me. I was coming as a Yemeni girl. I went to Fortson High School, so I had that of an advantage, if you will. Only because I wasn't amongst my people, the Yemeni community. I was amongst the Lebanese community. For that specific reason, I was able to take advantage and do sports. So I threw in sports very, very heavily down my parents' throat, and that was not something that I was willing to back out of because I was really like hyperactive and things like that, and it was a good outlet for me. So I played sports. I was in softball, like basically all throughout high school, and then I played volleyball and basketball. So for me, it was important to have that level of activity and just waiting and honestly learning what sabr actually means as a child because I wasn't being heard until I'm at the position where I am now where I have something to say and people will actually listen. So
Yeah, I was gonna
it's a
say.
different perspective for
Yeah,
sure.
and I'm gonna come at it with another different perspective, and it's the little brother perspective, the younger one perspective. You know, I used to hang out with my brothers, and I think that's why, you know, I am who I am today. And because every time I'm with my people my age, it's like I look at them like, come on, guys, you know what I'm
I feel
saying?
you, dude.
I'm like the
Feel
guy
a
that's like, come on,
fatherly
yeah,
figure-ish
yeah,
almost,
and almost like I guess you call me the buzzkill now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just sit there and you know, there were times where like I would be hanging around with people who are older than me, and I'd be like, dude, am I the old one? I mean, am I the kid right now, or is it like these people? But you can't say anything. You can't say anything because you're the young
The
one.
baby.
You know, you're the baby, and
Your
so
opinion doesn't matter.
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
That's,
And
that's another problem in our community too, is that we're always underestimated. Like they think that because, you know, you're younger than they are, that you have absolutely nothing to, you know, just sit down somewhere. No,
Yeah.
dude, like I know stuff too.
yeah, and I mean, you gotta really think about it. Like we're talking. I'm thinking like even when I was 2021, which I'm telling you, you're an adult. Like even. You could almost listen to people who are younger, like teenage wise, like they know enough now. You know what I'm
100%,
saying?
man.
They know enough. Like there's some like
We have
Abdullah.
resources that they didn't have, man. They didn't have the internet.
Yeah,
So that's one major resource that makes us, honestly, gives us an advantage over them because, hey, they didn't have Google at the tip of their fingers to search anything and have a reliable source tell you exactly what that is, find an article for absolutely anything. So
Yeah.
they got to give us credit for that, man. We have more resources than they did, so
for sure.
continue on.
For
I hate to
sure.
cut
No,
you off.
I was gonna just say, that we had somebody in here a couple of weeks ago. He's younger than me, and I tell him like I look up to him on the fact that how he carries himself, and when he talks, I listen. You know, when he talks, I listen because I know, like you said, he has the information and he's not just talking. He has it and he's backing it up. And his actions, most importantly.
100%.
So, like, if I see someone who's younger than me that's carrying themselves very responsibly, like, why would you not want to hear what
Give
they
them
have to
credit
say?
and-
Yeah.
and 100%.
You know,
man. And
so-
that's one thing like that I whether it's with my nieces, my nephews, my little brother, is, you know, when they have something worthwhile and I take them seriously because they have something good to say. Trust me, it only forces them to do better, be better. Oh, this person actually listened to me. I gotta hold myself to a higher standard now.
I want to piggyback on that. If they don't have you, they're gonna go to outsiders.
100%.
And you'd rather them come to you than outsiders.
100%.
So
Because
be
that's
that
when
person
things
for
go in the
your
wrong
family.
direction. When they
Yeah.
go to the outsiders and not you.
100%.
Definitely. So I just want to touch on that and just Khamar and Danny chimed in. Just wanted to say I'm so proud of you all, mashallah. My wife said GEE #1 when she mentioned school because she went to Frontier. Is Riverside a GEE school,
It
by
is
the
a
way?
GEE
Okay.
school.
So Frontier.
I don't recommend G.
Yeah,
I can't speak on
Yeah.
that.
They're okay. They're alright.
Yeah, they're okay. They
If
could
it
do,
wasn't
they
for
could
them, I would have been homeschooled.
they could do better. They could be better. The kids deserve a better education over
Yes.
there.
Yes.
They're definitely lacking in a lot. I'm not afraid to say this out loud. They're lacking in so many different aspects of things, and it's coming at the cost of the kids' education. It's coming at the cost of the way the kids feel about themselves. There's absolutely no pride in that school. It's almost as though most kids are ashamed to go there, and it's unfortunate.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was the first ever graduate class of Frontier. It was 08. It was the first class to ever graduate from that school, and we didn't get the same fundings as the other GE schools. They didn't take us seriously
Worse?
at all. Yeah. We
I
did
can't
not.
even imagine if it's worse than
Hamtramck.
what it is right.
Oh yeah, I mean it's better now.
I
So yeah,
remember
13
writing
years
my-
ago, you can only imagine.
I'm an adult now, so I don't care. I remember writing my speech, my valedictorian speech. I thanked everybody in the beginning of it, but when I actually went up on stage, I didn't say any of it.
You know, it's funny. Not even too long ago. I'm sure you guys probably heard
I
about
was a
it.
little bit more spicier.
Every girl who
Yeah.
did that speech and called out, wasn't it?
I didn't call anybody out, but I didn't thank people that I didn't want to.
Yeah, she called out those people.
I give her credit. Like during the time that I seen it, I was like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
but when I seen it and experienced it firsthand, they deserve to be called out.
Yeah.
They definitely need to be called out.
She
And that
used
goes
her
into
voice.
using-
Yeah,
sir.
there you go. She used her voice. And it was on the
100%.
news and everything, and probably they.
We all
put-
know her.
put-
Kudos to you.
Do you know her
No,
specifically?
no, no. I'm
Oh,
saying, like,
okay.
we all talk
Yeah,
about her,
exactly.
you know?
100%.
I thought you knew her specifically.
No,
I was like,
no,
oh, you about to
no.
call her out right now? Huh? All right. Well, this is the time. This is the time.
What's
I
going
got
on?
this one more time.
I forgot my boxing gloves. What's
Yes,
going on?
it's going down right now. All right. The question, and for those that are watching, feel free to chime in and call in. The number again is 313-306-1750. Again, 313-306-1750. If you want to call in, chime in. This is a conversation I definitely wanted to ask because I have a respectable, two respectable people from Dearborn, and I'm sure y'all have heard things and been through things and probably seen things firsthand and witnessed things firsthand. So, my question I wanted to ask this here is how can we unite the Dearborn people with the Hamtramck / Detroit people, so that there's no animosity between us. One show I was screaming out 6 Mile and then she was over here taking off her earrings. I'm like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? No, but in all seriousness, listen, I'm gonna ask the question, but can I at least state something first because I do want to
You
say
never
something.
You never talk first.
All right, I just want to say this.
Yeah,
I just want to say
follow.
this. I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all.
Go ahead.
Growing up, I was part of that problem. I would say, right? I used to.
You were like.
Yeah, I used to think like, man, they're Dearborners. You know what I'm saying? They think they're
They-
better
they
than us.
are.
Yeah, like they think they're better than us. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey guys, when we go hoop at Dearborn, we better not lose to them. You know what I'm saying? Like that was our mindset. Never on some physical fight stuff, even though
100%
there's probably some stuff. It was more of like, yo, you from Dearborn, from Hamtramck. We just
It's kind of competitive, if you be
Yeah.
honest. Not all of it is bad, but
yeah.
continue.
But what I want to say now is it's so dumb.
It is.
We're talking about Yemen. We're talking about how we gotta come together for this kind of stuff. Like right now, I'm thinking just Yemeni people. Right now, I'm not even getting into details of other backgrounds and whatever and stuff. But looking back at it is like, dude, that's the kind of stuff that's holding a lot of different cultures back.
100%,
Like
dude.
the African American community. Like if I ever when we do sit down, because in February, by the way, is Black History Month. I was gonna tell y'all we're doing all Black History topics with people. So
it.
Kudos.
yeah. So I just want to let y'all know like. That's what's holding people back is not
100%.
realizing how when we're together we can accomplish
When you're
so
united. Right.
many things. Like
100%.
when I hear that stuff now, I sit there. And by the way, it's not like that with everybody. Like we
isn't.
we got
I was gonna
leagues.
say,
But the stigma is still there.
Yeah,
you
the
know.
stigma is still there, but you know we're in the leagues. You know, I see that you know people are cool and we laugh and we still have good connections. You know what I'm saying? But the stigma is still there. But what I like to say, what I just want to end it off with overall is just how, like, kind of I want to say immature it is. It's very immature. Like to me, guys, come on. Like let's be real right now. Like we got to be able to move on from that stuff. Cause literally, there's people who don't talk to people or don't want to hang out with people just because of that simple reason.
That's
That
something I
happens a
talk
lot.
about.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of because I feel like the Hamtramck community looks at Dearborn and thinks that we think that we're better than you guys, so then you guys hold it against us and you guys label us a specific way. Like one of the biggest things that I got from the Hamtramck community to the Dearborn was you guys are a bunch of hot boys. Like you guys are like really flashy, you guys are just like out here, you guys don't really care. And it's just like, why everybody? Why aren't you saying like, oh, that person's a hothead or that person's
There's
a,
an
like,
Arabic proverb.
You know what I mean?
Chime in real quick that says, "There's a bathroom in every household." So you know, regardless of where you're from, there's a bathroom in every household. It
Right.
doesn't mean that the whole house is bathrooms. You know.
Right.
So to piggyback off of that is not everyone is the same, and you can't paint everyone with the same exact brush.
And
Yeah,
I feel like
continue.
that's what it happened. I felt like everybody was painted by this big you know, I'm 25 years old, okay? I just, like, I want to say within the last couple of years of my life, so maybe 2-3 years, I just found out that the majority of the Yemeni population in Hamtramck 6 Mile, Detroit, whatever mile, 7 Mile too, is mostly from my neck of the woods. Sha'ir, Ba'dan, Al-Aoud, Aghrab, like, that's us. That's my people. I did not know that. In Dearborn, it's mostly like Gubanin and like from the southern Yafi'in and like so Riyashi. So I would feel more at home with the Hamtramck folk, but I never even got that opportunity because we were so stuck on hating each other. And like I never ever in my life addressed Hamtramck as Hamtramck. It was always Hamtrash.
Let me ask
I
you.
never felt that
See-
strong. I never felt that
Okay.
strongly about
Oh,
it. But
the
just to
girls-
joke.
Yeah.
No,
I
yeah,
would,
the
but
girls,
I never felt that
I
strongly.
wasn't even
about it.
allowed. I would not even be friends with a girl if she was from Hamtramck.
Did you ever have an incident? Because I actually never had an
Me
incident.
too. I was gonna
Neither.
say.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Let's
Where
hear it.
I dealt with the bathroom in a household.
Okay.
You know, it's different, but that's why you can't pay everyone with the same brush. I've met some amazing people from Hamtramck.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay.
You
yeah,
get what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, then same here.
There's
I've
a
not-
person that live up to the exact negative standards that we think about. But put that to the side. There are so many bro. Ibrahim Ayash. I've worked with many people who are great, genuine dudes, and they're from Hamtramck. And over the years, I've come to find out that, dude, you had to you dealt with one bad person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't allow it to. And that goes to the kind of issue that we face as Muslims, for example. There's bad apples, and then we get painted all with the same brush, and we don't like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because we're different. So with that being said, I feel like even if you did have a bad experience, it still doesn't give you a good enough reason to just stamp everyone with the same exact. It's definitely not right. And we're taking the very first step is acknowledging that there is an issue and actually talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to like piggyback off that, the 1, 2, 3. Now that I'm an adult and now that my boundaries are set and I choose the people that I want to enter my life and I'm good with that. the few folk that are in my life that come from Hamtramck, just them, just that one person, like for example, like I'm very close with you guys' sister, you guys know that obviously. So like just her alone just how she carries herself wipes away every bad negative image that I've had of Hamtramck because she does such a good job of carrying herself. You know what I mean? So like it's very important not to hold the stigma just because something bad happens to you to keep that mentality. So 100%. I like that you mentioned that, absolutely.
And we teach our kids to do that, and we preach it too. Like Yemeni people, like we get it from everybody. We get it from our own Arabic people. We get from non-Muslim people that try to attack us because we're considered
And it's so unfortunate we get it from ourselves too.
Exactly. Like we're doing it to ourselves. Like what are we doing? Like you know what I'm saying? Like what? And just because of where we're at, you know what I'm saying, and what city we live in America,
like
so
a
it's
little
crazy.
turf war. Come on, we're much bigger than that.
Exactly.
I have a lot to say about this.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to hear all your opinions.
I don't think he's done. You want to go ahead and share?
I'll go after you. I'll go after you. Like I said, you said what steps can we take in order to alleviate that issue? Like I said, being able to sit down and actually acknowledge that there is an issue, talk about it, see some of the reasons as to why some people feel that way. Like I'd be lying to you if I said that from your end, from the Hamtramck end, for you guys to think that these Dearborn people think that they're better than us. It comes from kind of from a lack of confidence and a little bit of insecurity. Yeah. So you whoever is on the end of all these people, be confident in yourself as a person to not even think about it like that, because hey, not everyone thinks about it like that, first of all, and second of all, you are responsible for yourself as an individual. You gotta dude, confidence. That's one of the things that really has taken me so far in life, got me out of so many different situations and gotten me into so many different situations. So when you say that us as a Hamtramck community have the feeling that these Dearborn people think that they're better than us, I really interpret that as a lack of confidence, which that comes from you. That doesn't say that there's not an issue on our end, but when you're already coming to the table with that insecurity and with that lack of confidence, it's felt in the air. Absolutely. And the people who do feel that way, they will, you know what I mean? And the people who don't feel that way, they'll be like, why is this person even acting like this? So that's one major step, as I encourage my brothers and sisters in Hamtramck to listen, be confident in who you are as a person, especially if you know that you are a good, ethical, moral person. There's no reason why you should have that feeling in the back of your mind that these guys think that they're better than us. Be confident in yourself as a person, and get rid of that insecurity. It's easier said than done, but I feel like that's a major aspect in it, is that a lot of people from Hamtramck have that insecurity. And, it translates to how people in Dearborn feel. It reaffirms that emotion that, we are better, if it is there, that we are better than them. This guy's giving me the energy that makes me feel like I'm better than him. And at the end of the day, we're all equal, dude. And like you were saying, we're already getting so much heat from outside of our community.
Right.
Why is it that we're divided amongst ourselves? And you, one of the questions that you were going to ask was about to alleviate the animosity. Dude, there's animosity between us and Dearborn. So it's a general problem. It's not one that's simply specific to this Hamtramck Dearborn beef. We as a people need to do better, honestly. And it's not just a Hamtramck Dearborn problem. Shema can attest. We have animosity within our own communities, dude. So it's not a personal thing. I feel like it's just a problem of us as a people as a whole. And it's something that we need to solve within ourselves first before we're able to reach out and bridge the gap.
Which is why for us, it's not so much like we care anymore, because we have so many problems amongst ourselves in Dearborn. Yeah. So when somebody says, like a Hamtramck person,
I swear to God, it doesn't even cross my mind.
We're just like, like it doesn't. Yeah. It goes right over our head, because in Dearborn,
there's already
there's so much division already. So it's just one more to us, or one more added on.
I gotta give the Hamtramck community credit. At least that's what it looks like from the outside looking in. I feel like I feel like
I know
that
what you're
issue.
gonna say, but
No,
Go
because
ahead.
they're
I
divided
might
up
be
too.
mistaken then.
But
I don't think it's as bad. I know what you're saying about Dearborn situation. I know what you're saying.
saying.
I know Hamtramck got like Ducktown, and you guys got
Yeah.
the NB people, and I know that there's that division, but in reality, guys, come on, it's 2 miles.
Yeah.
So for whatever,
Listen, if they want to create a barrier, they'll create out of
But listen,
nothing.
Out of thin air, for real.
regardless, the amount of people that reside in those 2 miles, that's half of the South End for us. You get what I mean? That's like 2 streets in the South End. We are 2 miles is very easy for us to I can give you in the South End. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like. Yeah, there might be some type of division, but it's not on the scale where it's affecting radiuses, where it's affecting counties in Dearborn. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally the east versus the south end versus the west end versus the north. We didn't even talk, like, it's weird. Dearborn is weird when it comes to that sectorism, and then it's like race against race, and then it's like, you know, religion against religion. So it's just a lot. So to go off of that, I think with us, it's so embedded in us to the point where, like, we have another hater. Big deal.
Before I let Abby to go off, I know she's been holding back. She has a lot to say.
She's biting her nails right now, guys.
One major thing that we have to do is we have to work on ourselves and collaborate with one another.
100%.
See, like you reaching out to me, man, and telling me to come on your show, that's us collaborating, and it alleviates any type of animosity or competition between us. See, that's one thing that I gotta give you credit for, and I thank you for it, because you know, us as Yemeni people, and I'm sure it's kind of a issue with other races as well, but Yemeni people, man, they do not want to see someone doing what they're doing. They won't try to help you up. As a matter of fact, they'll go out of their way to try to sabotage whatever it is that you're doing, just so that you don't. But hey, that's one of the issues that we do have.
Yeah,
100%.
that's
So
definitely
that's why I wanted to thank you in the beginning, because you know this sets any animosity to the side. And we're here for each other, man. The same way that I'm sure you would be willing to help me with any questions I have, you know that I'm also willing to help you with any, and that right there, bridging the gap, that helps solve the problem. We need to collaborate with one another. Right. You know, me and you both do podcasts, we collaborated. Businesses need to collaborate. Professionals need to collaborate. And I feel like that helps bridge the gap.
And I just want to quickly say before you say it, you're limiting yourself.
100%.
Like, I'm looking at it demographically, right? Like, dude, come on over, Dearborn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
100%.
looking at it like, well, why not? You know, like you.
If anything, it benefits me even more.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
100%.
dude, you gotta like really think about it. Like, what are you doing? What are you like?
Bigger
This
picture.
is immature. Like I said, I think you're limiting yourself, like you said, and you have to realize. I mean, to be honest with you, there's probably people that are listening to this and be like, dude, this is old news. When in all reality, it's still kind of going on and it's still there.
It's
So
most definitely still there.
yeah, so, but I'm just throwing it out there, like, dude, you guys are limiting yourselves. Like, you gotta look at yourself like a professional in a way. So, how are you going to be a professional when you're saying, hey, by the way, this sector right here, I don't even care about them. I don't even want them to be a part of anything. Like, you gotta almost look at yourself like, what if you're a future business owner? Don't you want people from this place to come over here?
100%.
And then if you
dude.
are already showing this animosity or like showing that kind of, you know, attitude towards one group, how do you feel about this group? How do you feel about this group? So they're gonna start
dude.
questioning, you know, your character.
100% and your intentions. And that's why, like with this project, man, I plan on keeping it as extremely inclusive as possible. And it's not exclusive to my community. It's not exclusive to Arabic people even. It's inclusive and that's one way to where you allow yourself to be seen by all. You don't want your message to be direct to one space and limit yourself, like you just said. So I feel like being inclusive, collaborating, these are very important things that would help alleviate the animosity that's between the communities.
We were very positive. She's about to take us back negative.
No. You guys are gonna be surprised. Okay, so growing up back in the day, there wasn't a lot of Yemeni people. Like, believe it or not, like
In Hamtramck?
In Hamtramck, there wasn't. You know, we were very close knit. You know what I'm saying? There was like, let's say 12 families that were really, you know, close. And 6 Mile and a little bit in Hamtramck. Everything was cool, but I'm not gonna lie to you, we didn't have a lot of the opportunities that the girls in Dearborn had. So we did take it as a hater. I feel like now growing up, being who I am right now, I was a hater. I couldn't do what she could do. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it came off, but at the same time, I did feel like, you know, the girls looked down upon us as well. You know what I'm saying? And
Shema, you admit that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's also because of what Abdullah said, and I'm so glad, and Nan said it a man, because if a girl said it, they would have been on the listening at home, like, oh yeah, whatever. But a man said it. That's insecurity.
I'm sitting here telling you, it's us being
love
haters.
that. And I love that
You know?
because back then we had to feed off of it. Be like, okay, if they want us to be متكبرين, then when we go there, we're wearing our gold. We're gonna kahal. We're gonna make.
Hey, we
you know
had
what
gold
I mean?
too.
But that's
I'm
what
talking about the way you were dressed.
You know what I mean?
Don't do that.
That's
Don't
what
get it
they were
misconstrued.
doing. Hold on,
Don't do
but
that. We had money. We just wasn't allowed to do stuff.
But no, like that's what I'm saying. Like the girls in Dearborn, they would purposely like wear the pants or make sure that they got the boots on in front of the Hamtramck girls. Why? Why? Because we knew we could do it.
See,
because
this is
they
some
would
childish.
hate.
You know,
It is very childish.
Yeah.
So let me continue. Okay, so then growing up or whatever, I'm not gonna lie. Like I fell off with a lot of people that I grew up with. Just
Life.
you grow up, you
Yeah.
grow out of your system, you become into the world. I got to go to college. You know what I'm saying? I got to meet other people, and the thing that used to kill me was like when somebody would meet me, right? They go, "Where are you from?" And I'd be like, "I'm trying." Like, really? You're not from Dearborn?
Yeah, people are telling me that too, by the way.
Why do I gotta be from Dearborn if I'm cool, or if I'm a little bit more, open, or if I'm smart, or if I have a way of speech, or if I'm
I
dressed
know
a
exactly
certain
what
way?
you're saying.
It's like, nah, why I gotta be from Dearborn though? And then I get offended again.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, here we go again. And then it's not only the Arab. It's like American people. You're not from Dearborn? Like, really? You look like you're from Dearborn. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's a backhanded compliment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then that creates even more animosity between us. Like, where it's like, no, I could be from Hamtramck and be this way, but real talk, now, being in the business world, most of my clientele is from Dearborn. So shout out to Dearborn.
Hey.
I love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see it as much as I used to see it.
Because it was on an immature level,
100%.
We had nothing to offer at the time. We were kids.
Why are we worried? This is what I want to say to everybody. This is how we can end it. Be the best version of yourself. Do whatever you want to do. Stop looking at other people.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Show who you really are. Do what you want to do. Why does it even exist anymore? So yes, it was there. I ain't gonna lie, I was salty. But now, wallah, alhamdulillah, like I anybody that I meet, like there's some, once you sit down and actually, cause I'm not good at small talk. I'm not gonna approach nobody. It's weird. But if I'm gonna talk to you, we're gonna get deep. You're gonna know way too much. I'm gonna overshare, and you know what I'm saying? But that's how I am, and then once you do get to know somebody like that, you're like, well, they're cool. It's like, I don't know why I judge them.
Exactly what happened to me.
So y'all thought I was gonna bash on that, but I'm not gonna lie. Like growing up, it was sad. It was embarrassing to even, and I'm gonna sit here and say it. Like we were haters.
Yeah, and just going off of that, just like my mindset was, okay, Hamtramck, I think we're okay in Hamtramck in terms of like getting people, like getting our voice out there.
Mm-hmm.
My next mindset was Dearborn. Like that was my next mindset. That's why I was like, yo, Shay, we're gonna do a show. Like my next mindset was, let me get with Dearborn because it's time that we,
But I want to
connect, have that connection,
collaborate.
Yeah.
I think that in Hamtramck, I'm a Yemeni girl, right? In Hamtramck, I'm still not comfortable going to certain places. And I think that's sad, and I really want to shed light on that. You know how when we say the animosity between the girls or whatever, we have a lot of animosity in our own community with the men. I don't feel comfortable talking to the Yemeni men in Hamtramck. I don't feel comfortable going into. I'm gonna go put. I don't care. I'm gonna put out there. I don't want to go to Yemen Cafe. I don't want to go to
Sheba.
Sheba. I don't want to go to what is
Remas?
that? And Remas. I don't want to go to the fruit market. Haramain. You guys make it so uncomfortable. I'd rather go drive to Dearborn, drive to Walmart to get whatever I need to get because it's inappropriate and it's ridiculous. Like they don't know how to talk to Yemeni women, and I think that's what needs to stop.
The men.
I understand.
I'm looking at the camera.
I feel so like we're grown now.
The
you know what I'm saying?
men do make it kind of awkward.
They do, and they do.
They need to understand. Look at it like no different, right? Because it's 2021. First of all, second of all, you're not asking for marriage in the middle of a fruit market, right?
But then we're singing to the fruit when you're next to them, like, bro,
Man.
go do your job.
Yeah,
you know like I will drive.
And to be honest with you, again, this is
that's something that needs to be talked about honestly.
Yes,
and that
that's
goes
what I was
about the points we touched on earlier. If you want something to change, you have to let your voice
be heard.
I don't know why I even came around.
I think they just need to understand that, like, come on, guys, like, y'all gotta just have these. Be normal. Just be yourself.
Yeah,
be normal.
literally,
That's really
man.
what it is. Be normal.
The thing is, when we went to that
Like there's Arabic people who probably would see her in a fruit market, Yemeni, think that's aib still. You know what I'm saying? In 2021.
Even worse, they'll call her names that she's totally not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's worse because that's my entire life. That's what I had to deal with my entire life because I didn't. I did not. I don't care. I have something the tweak, and I'll answer that for our last question. But in perspective to like not settling on who I was just because of where I come from. For example, in Arabic school, I was the one because that got to one point where they were like, Mom, they wouldn't let us go out for lunch to buy food anymore. Mm-hmm. So I would be the one that's collecting everybody's money
and break the rules to go out and buy everyone lunch.
To go buy everybody lunch. That used to be me because I didn't care. Like my mom knows I'm gonna go get it. My dad knows I don't care what I'm still gonna do it because that's why, you know. So I was always that person, always being the person that's just like it's not that bad, guys. Just do it. Just it's 15 seconds. You know what I mean?
You know what I want to say? Remember when we went to that? I'm telling you, any other Yemeni community other than outside of Michigan. They are hand to hand. No, those New York people, shout out to those New York people.
Oh my goodness.
Girls, boys working together. Texas.
Illinois.
Listen, I'm telling you, like, their communities are way more in tune and like brother and sister and looking out for you and having each other's back. And it used to be like that in Hamtramck. I used to have, like, when I was in middle school and elementary school, the Yemeni boys in my grade, like, shout out to all of them, like, they had my back. You know what I'm saying? Now,
I feel like that's something we always prided ourselves in, regardless of the
now, Wallah, it's like, they would rather you, like, they will look another way and talk so much. I don't know. I feel like we need to do better as a community.
We do, and you know, talking about it is the first step. Yeah. So
here's the thing, though. In my household, we're really, really big on deen, not so much culture. My mom and my dad basically were born here, so we weren't really cultural as much. We were more religion based. Okay, so my house, if it was a haram, do it. That's how it was for us. Alhamdulillah, thank God I had that lifestyle. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Hamtramck, Shayma, with the roar that I have, I sometimes feel uncomfortable doing stuff. And I'll share a story one time. One time I was at Wingfellas, and I ordered food on the phone because I wanted, like...
Not Wingfellas.
I was supposed to.
They're not a sponsor, by the way.
We're putting people on
It's not the facility themselves. It's just the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's Hamtramck's atmosphere.
Yeah.
So he's not doing anything like out of the norm. He's really not. But it's just so not used to it. So that's why I was just like, I thought it was weird. The guest that I was with was like, oh, that's so normal. That's how I was like, oh my goodness.
This is a standard.
Like I said, hi. Do you guys are you guys open? Because I know COVID, this, that. Are we allowed to come in and eat? And they said, yeah, but do you want me? Let me take your order beforehand, so by the time you're already here, the food's already done. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, cool. So I'm gonna sit down. And they take my order. Like I go, and the boxes are bagged up, tied and everything. And the bag's like right here. He gives it to me. I pay, and I'm like, I said I was gonna dine in though. And he's like, oh yeah, you could sit at the table and eat. And I was like, but it's closed. Like you made it look like I'm leaving. You know what I mean? So then I was just like, you know what? No, I'm still going to prove a point that I'm not going to be that person that leaves even though you're making me feel uncomfortable. So I sat. And I had to, like, literally wait up there, and I had to wait. And I said, excuse me, can I get some napkin? To the point where I was just like, you know what, I'm not even going to do it anymore. And I left. But to the point where it's like even if you go out of your way to try, and I'm a person that will try. And I was like, if a person like me can't try, what makes you think another girl would? You know what I mean? Like, it's not... So that's why the guys have to reason. The guys have to come to a neutral understanding that when they do see a female at the grocery store, if they see a girl going to the masjid in Hamtramck is a big deal. Like, the masjid? Like, masjid is part of my weekly routine. I'm at the masjid at least once, twice a week.
I'm gonna lie to you, I used to come all the way to the ICD for any classes because...
It's so
that's where you
sad.
feel most comfortable.
And the masjid does allow people to go, but they're very judgmental and.
No, man, it's so funny because we have a lot of like Hamtramck volunteers or a Hamtramck family that come to the masjid, and they drive all the way to us, and it's like, what about Ma'ad ibn Jabal? What about this one? What about that one? And they're like, oh no, not with the it's not accepted. So it's just like, if it's not accepted in the masjid, it's not going to be accepted in the street.
I don't want to say it's not accepted. It's more
or
like not
welcome.
Not welcoming. That's what I'm saying.
There's not a lot of youth opportunities. There's not a lot of like ICD.
Welcome.
Shout out to ICD. I can't even talk. They bring in the community. They
got a lot of hate for that, by the way. But I think that they did. But I really do commend them for that too, because those are the type of things that we need in our community to
Yeah.
bridge the gap, like we were just talking about. They recently bought the Fairlane, Fairlane Country Club.
Yep, the country club.
And they're turning it into like a
You-
community center as well.
Evolving, changing,
Yes,
realizing
yes.
that hey, listen,
It's
if you're
different
not
now.
gonna change, you're gonna get sucked in.
you're gonna get
be
left
in
behind.
That's it. Nobody's gonna look at like guys. I'm a girl that was based. I lived in Mesquite Dix. Mesquite Dix, I lived there. That's where my heart, my soul belongs to. Okay, but. And as a girl that still practices and goes to like all of these youth functions and stuff, nothing ever happens there anymore. I kind of got left behind because they didn't adapt, they didn't change. You know,
They're trying to get back in the picture of things, but
now
I agree.
Look though. Now they're trying to get
They
back
are.
to our type of work, and they're trying to go back to how they would not settle. Now they're willing to settle.
You know-
so it's like
you know why-
have to be willing to change. You have to.
100%. I feel like a lot of the boys in our community are not lost because there's not things like this.
The one
And
thing
they
that I
would
will
be
say though
involved if there
about
was.
the one thing that I will say about the Hamtramck, Detroit men that I feel like Dearborn does have a better advantage in is, well, Ahmed, don't get mad because you stand out. And I tell you this all the time, but they're emotionally not connected with themselves, or they don't have emotional intelligence in a sense because they don't know how to
We don't
show
either.
they don't know how to
I wouldn't
show
just say
their
it's a Hamtramck thing.
emotion in a sense too, or the Yemeni community. I
Yeah,
would
just
say.
generalize it as Yemeni because it's also
I would say that
Yeah.
absolutely. But like rather than knowing that our Yemeni men don't have the ability to reason with your emotions, and that in a sense is one of their holdbacks. That's one of the things that's keeping you guys back from growing. Because listen, it's called intelligence. Emotions are a form of intelligence that you get once you conquer your intelligence. So it's important, and I feel like that's one thing that's holding us back too.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the meeting.
Yeah, that was great. We started this question I felt like 25 minutes ago because I was checking out the time, and now it's 8:22. I just want to say one thing. First of all, I love, and I know you could attest to this. I love being from Hamtramck, Detroit. You know, we were born in Detroit, raised in
You gotta
Hamtramck.
be proud of where you're
You
from.
gotta be proud of where you're
my
from.
kids all the time. you
Yeah,
know?
100%. I love being a
I love the
Yemeni. I
six,
love
you know?
being from Hamtramck and
100%.
Detroit.
I don't even represent Hamtramck that much. I mean, we moved there. We're originally born and raised in Detroit,
Yeah.
6 Mile, and then we eventually moved to Hamtramck. But I wouldn't want to work anywhere else. I want to give back to the
To your own
community that
community.
yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
And-
And I feel like there's a lot of potential that's not
Exactly,
there.
and we just want to see it be the best as it can be. So when we say this stuff, this is coming from us being passionate about the city and caring
100%.
about the city.
That's why all of our shows, man, we're doing this podcast. We're doing the work, man.
It's like therapy,
so
man.
if anybody wants to sit here and dismiss or talk about us, whatever, we're the ones that are doing
That
the
shit's
work.
don't matter.
Call in,
So-
share your opinion.
Yeah, I
Ask
mean-
us to come sit
Right.
because the seat is available.
Yeah,
we will
we-
take anybody on.
We will.
Like literally, we like to hear people's opinions. We learn from them.
All right, so Reem A says, "Shay, you're a real one for doing that." The Wingfellows one, and then my wife says, "Shout out to Hamtramck and Dearborn." Let's shake on that for sure. So shout out to. And then Ahmed was agreeing, saying that it's beyond inappropriate, like kind of the stuff that the people were doing.
I know
But let's
you
not go backwards. And I just want to give a shout out to the second and last sponsor. Then we're gonna move into the last question. And the second sponsor is Leo's Coney Island in Royal Oak, better than Wingfellows, and they will let you sit there and eat comfortably and make sure that they take care of you. They
I
got
need to go to our sponsors, you guys.
yeah, they got delicious American style food. They're known for their conies, fried chicken gyro, breakfast. You know, they have great chili over there. You know, Leo's conies have been around for a long time, but the best Leo's of them all is the one in Royal Oak. Shout out to Umar Alhydary.
He's 08 too, fellow.
Yeah, he's an 08. He is not one of those people,
No,
by
he's
the
not. He's
way.
very-
Located on 10 South Main Street, Royal Oak, Michigan. Their number is
on Main Street.
yeah,
Oh.
it's on number is 1-248-336-8093. I'm not trying to be like funny. It's probably one of like the most well known because it's in Royal Oak and it's hot. It's always
Yeah.
hot. It's right there. So shout out to Leo's Royal Oak. Like this is the original one too because they got mashallah they have a couple.
I'm thinking,
it's
is
one
that
of the
the one that I
originals.
see driving to school? That's what I was
It
trying
is right there in the corner. If it's a corner one, then it's right there in the corner. So yeah, shout out to those guys. And going on to the last question. Let the guests. Do you want to close us out or do you want to start us off? You know, what it was up to you. I'm gonna let you
Either or, you
decide.
can let the ladies go first.
Okay,
I don't
so
mind.
ladies go first. So we go Shay, Abid, and then if I have something to say, I'll just add it, and then we'll let you close us out. If someone was afraid to use their voice, what advice would you give them, Shayma?
Okay, so I feel like I was in my life. I tasted real, true fear, and what I mean by that is, subhanAllah, in my life, God gave me some things that the normal, average Joe would not necessarily experience, and I'll just share a few of those. I lost my ability to see. Okay, and when you lose your ability to see, so when you're literally, hey guys, what's up, and then I'll see you guys next Tuesday, and then imagine next Tuesday I come and I can't see you guys anymore. Like, it was that quick. And when that happened, my mom's face and my mom and my dad's face, like, not that I forgot them, I just forgot them in a sense. So everything was listening. So now the person that you're scared of, or the person that they no longer have a face to be put to. So once I realized what actual real fear is, I learned that, well, of the things that we really hold on to, these little bitty fears, I call them, they're really nothing. And that you're really truly setting yourself back. Because if I was able to fight through blindness, still go to school, still be able to try to find a normal, and was a Yemeni girl, still having to do the Yemeni rules, and still having the brothers, and still doing this, and then wallah, what is really fear? You know? So for me, fear had a different perception. After that situation in my life, the perspective of fear, like, dimmed down for me. So I can honestly say that I am one person that you can call fearless. I don't have a fear because I deal with the unknown so often. MS is the disease of the complete unknown. So I relapse all the time. I'm currently, right now, I'm in a relapse. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's ridiculous because I never know, and I can't even prevent it. I do the best that I can, and it's just really hard to stay on top of it. So what I learned to do was learn to control the fear. Learn to just deal with today. Because if you think about yesterday, it's a form of depression, and if you think about tomorrow, it's a form of anxiety. So let's learn about how to live with today, right? So that was one thing that was really big for me, was I learned how to be fearless, and that was through my own epidemics in life. The biggest thing that I can tell somebody that is afraid is it takes 15 seconds of complete bravery for you to initiate something and get the ball going, and then it's done, you guys. 15 seconds. It takes you longer to take a sip of water or to go pee. Like, literally, it will take you longer to go wash your hands than to take the initiative and say, you know what, excuse me, you dropped your, like, my sister literally saw a guy drop his wallet, and it literally had money coming out, and she was so scared. She rather have him ran all the way back to me for me to run and give it to him than her to say, excuse me, sir, you dropped your wallet. Like, we need to be able to kallam. We need to be able to lose that hope, lose that real fear before something in your life really scares you. And don't get to that level. Learn from other people's fears. Learn from how other people manage to get through things, so it doesn't necessarily have to happen to you. So you're able to do it, and you're able to learn through your own sets of challenges and goals. So I think it's really important to be fearless.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you very much. Abir, same question for you. If someone was afraid to use their voice, what advice would you give them?
Okay, guys, do you want to live your own life, or do you want to live for other people? Because I was living for other people for a long period of my life. So it got to the point where if you want things to change, if you want your life to change, whatever you allow will continue. If there's a will, there's a way. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Mm-hmm. You just start. I would think just first kind of continue to communicate with your family and show them what you really want to do, and be open with them, be vulnerable, be step up to what you want. You know what I'm saying? Speak up. Let them know how you're feeling. Let them know that what you're trying to do is not, aib or haram or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them an idea. Like, have them believe in you, and then, like, take your first step. Live the life for yourself. As long as you're not harming anybody, just do it, like Nike says.
All right, that's awesome. And I'm just gonna quickly just say, not only should you say something, because if you want to use your voice, especially if something that's bothering you, you need to say something. But I was gonna say, also consider the way that you deliver the message, because I think that matters a lot as well. I think that you consider it, even if it's an email, even if it's a post on Instagram or Facebook, Yeah, I think it's just very important the way you approach the what you want to be heard. I think you should really consider it, especially if it's something that is really passionate about to you or bothering you and stuff like that. So make sure you take into consideration how you are using your words or your voice when you do use your voice, because that's when it can be a strong impact on people.
My mom used to always say, it's never what you say, it's how you say it. So my
remember
mom's the one that said it right in front of
Yeah.
me. She loves it. She says that every day of her entire life. Well, I think I hear that once a day.
That's
from
crazy
my mom.
because I heard her telling me how she was telling the lady. I was like, that's true.
Yeah, she said she lives by it because she always corrects somebody because of what they said, and she's like, you know what? If you said it, if
This
you said
way.
it like this, it would have been heard better.
Yeah,
So
the approach is critical.
Yeah, so approach is absolutely there. So you need to be able to have that. And again, like if you're not gonna be, and you guys, let's take a moment for a second, and I want to commend both of these gentlemen because in the situation that they're in. They're Yemeni men in towns that do, like, they're the odd ones out. The way you guys support your
I like that
spouses,
shit.
the
Me
way
too.
that you guys, the way that you support your spouses, the way that you're not
Give ourselves a
afraid,
round of applause right
the
now.
way that you're not afraid. Let me take a second for this one. The way that you guys are not afraid to support your wives.
I'm
is
afraid of.
huge.
Let me make this clear. I'm still, because I'm afraid of for her. That's why I just want to throw that out
Hold
there.
on, but it's not in the necessity. It's not the way you see you. It's that protection.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that you and Emel, or like you and Hamida, can have an open, public kind of relationship that nobody. You guys know qimatkum. You guys know what you guys have. You know how important it is to have a supporting wife, and for you to be that support to her, and you guys do that for the world, not for the world, but for people to can be like, look.
I just look.
Let me just say something. Abdullah, and I'm gonna end it with this one because you guys know me. I don't really like the whole, marriage talk. But what I will say is when because his wife is one of my oldest friends, right? I've known her for over 20 years, right? So when they got married, for me as a girl that has standards that will not lower my standards in life, it was kind of like a okay, alhamdulillah, there's still hope, because an example that, again, age group, literally my age group, it happened, and it's the support is there. What a girl really wants in like a marriage, they have, and it's something that I can recognize because they're so Allahumma barik, because it's so close in it. You know what I mean? And then looking at it from you guys' perspective, somebody that's directly older than me by a few years, you and Ahmed, like you guys have the Allahumma barik. So for me as a single female, I look at that and it's praisable. It's very praisable. I know, and I only ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you guys and to continue to strengthen you guys' marriage.
Just
Inshallah, ya Rabbil Alamin.
to elaborate on that, I really just look at it like I look at it like that's someone's daughter, and that's potentially like, how do you want your sister to be treated? You know,
Right.
There's a lot of things that my sisters weren't able to do that I feel bad about, and I don't want to be that same burden on people. You know, and it's very important to just look at it like, you know, that's somebody else's daughter, and you know, that's, you have sisters and you have women in your family too. So, you know, just do what you would want for your sisters as well. So there's things that, you know, it's because I look at it like that. You know, there's things that my sisters weren't able to do, and you know, it's not easy being in the community that we're in. If you allow yourself to listen to the outside noise, trust me, it's detrimental to your relationships and your. But it's very important to just think about it strictly like that. Like, what would you want? What would you have wanted your sisters to do, and what were they not allowed to do that now you have the capability of promoting and allowing to happen? So that's the biggest thing, is just look at it like, what would you want for your sisters?
Yeah, definitely. So, did you want to touch on about if someone was afraid to use their voice, what advice would you give them?
You guys made some great points already, but and you know, this goes back to some of the answers some of the questions that you already asked. Just to wrap it up, your voice is critical, man. It has a power of, you know, either being the cause of your happiness or the cause of your misery. You know, so if you don't like the current circumstances in your life, a lack of speaking and a lack of not having your voice be heard will only make things worse. Will only keep you left behind. If you want to see a change in your life, of course you have to take the action that requires you to get that change.
Walk the walk too.
But also talk the talk too. You know, people make it look like talking is No, talking plays a major role into you actually being able to put in the actions that are required in order for you to change those circumstances in your life. So, you know, if you want to change things in your life, first you got to start with the talk that you tell yourself. You know, what are those talks that you have when you're by yourself? Fix that right there, and then go from there, man. Your voice is very important. It has the ability of changing things in your life for the better or for the worse. So it's definitely critical, like we talked about in the previous questions. Your voice is...
And subhanallah, on a physical aspect, I've lost both abilities. I lost my ability to walk at one point, and I lost my ability to talk. And it's easier to learn how to re-walk than it is to learn how to re-talk. So, on a physical aspect, he nailed it right on the head. So, subhanallah.
Well, can we give a round of applause for Abdullah today? Awesome job, Abdullah.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
For sure. And I'm gonna just say, first of all, you can obviously watch the shows on Oz Media 313 YouTube page. You can listen to the shows under Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. Abdullah, do you want to give now? Let people know how they can find you and listen to you and your show and your podcast as well.
Mainly everything is being done through Instagram right now. The Instagram page is called Unfiltered Intuition. I have created social media platforms, but the main two that I'm using right now are Instagram. All the updates, what's going on is mainly through there. That's what I need to pick your brain on too, is I'm yet to enroll the podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. It's a little bit of a more complex method, but I do plan on having them on there as well. But for now, you can catch the full episodes mainly on YouTube. The link to the YouTube is in the bio of the Instagram.
And what's the YouTube page name?
Unfiltered Intuition.
Unfiltered Intuition. That is the YouTube,
Thank you.
Instagram page as well. Both same as well. So again, thank you, Abdullah, for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
It was a great time and
great conversations.
Very.
Absolutely.
And I
It's
think
always
this
like we always say we joke around because it's therapy.
It is. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. After
I feel good.
Yeah, you be feeling good.
For sure.
You know, you be feeling good. And so this is not the first. I feel like we're gonna definitely have you on because I
definitely
can
need to
see you
collaborate,
being
man.
a strong voice in the South End
Inshallah.
community, and I think we
Absolutely.
as two guys with two ladies can dig deep into some conversations that we feel like need to be said in the future as
100%
well.
agreed.
Inshallah. So everybody that's watching or that's eventually going to watch, thank you for watching. You know, let us know what y'all thought about it. Like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you all next week, Tuesday.
All right, guys.
Take it easy.